Most drivers who use fuel additives believe they're protecting their engines. They believe they're preventing wear before it starts. They believe they're keeping injectors clean, combustion efficient, and fuel systems healthy, just by pouring a bottle into the tank every few months. And that belief feels logical, because if something is designed to clean, stabilize, or protect fuel, using more of it should make the engine healthier. But that assumption is where the mistake begins. Not because fuel additives are scams, and not because they never work, but because most drivers use them without understanding what they're actually designed to correct, or when they stop doing anything useful at all. Some drivers swear additives transform the way their engines run. Others use them for years and notice absolutely nothing. Both groups think they're right, and in their own situations, they often are. The difference isn't the bottle, it's the condition of the engine it's being poured into. Let's slow this down and walk through it properly the way a technician would explain it if you were standing next to the car with the hood open. When people talk about fuel additives, they usually talk in general terms. They clean the engine, they improve performance, they help fuel economy. But engines don't respond to general improvements. They respond to specific mechanical conditions. Fuel additives are not universal upgrades. They're chemical solutions designed to address narrow imbalances: injector deposits, intake valve buildup, moisture contamination, combustion instability. When those imbalances don't exist, the additive has nothing to correct. And that's the part most drivers never hear clearly. At a chemical level, most fuel additives fall into functional categories. Detergents remove carbon and varnish buildup from injector tips and intake valves. Water dispersants bind to moisture molecules so they can pass safely through combustion. Fuel stabilizers slow oxidation and breakdown in stored gasoline. Octane boosters increase knock resistance by altering burn characteristics. Each additive modifies one part of combustion chemistry. None of them reinforce engine metals. None of them strengthen piston rings. None of them reduce mechanical friction directly. They restore lost balance, they don't improve healthy systems. Now here's where modern fuel chemistry complicates the conversation. Most gasoline already contains additive packages, particularly detergents. In many markets, deposit control additives are required in all fuel grades. Major fuel suppliers often use similar detergent formulations across regular and premium gasoline. So every time you fill up, your injectors and combustion chambers are already receiving gradual cleaning. That baseline protection is continuous, which means when drivers add aftermarket cleaners every few tanks without symptoms, they're often duplicating a function that's already happening naturally. This doesn't mean additives never work. It means they work best when baseline detergency is no longer sufficient, not before. There are situations where fuel additives genuinely make sense. Engines driven primarily on short trips rarely reach full operating temperature. Incomplete combustion accelerates deposit formation. Direct injection engines can accumulate intake valve deposits faster than port injection systems. Vehicles exposed to poor fuel quality may develop injector spray irregularities. Cars stored for long periods experience fuel oxidation and moisture absorption. In those situations, additives act as corrective tools, restoring injector atomization, stabilizing combustion, or preserving fuel chemistry. That's why some drivers swear by them. Because when an engine actually has deposits or instability, detergents can restore lost performance. Idle smooths, throttle response sharpens, combustion efficiency improves. But flip that scenario around. Take a healthy engine, one that reaches full operating temperature regularly, uses quality fuel, shows no drivability symptoms. Additives in that engine don't restore anything because nothing is degraded. They pass through unused. And that's where the mistake becomes expensive. Once drivers begin using additives, it often becomes habitual. One bottle at every oil change, another before long trips, another whenever fuel economy dips slightly. It feels preventative. But additives aren't preventative maintenance in the way oil changes are. They're corrective interventions. Using them continuously in a healthy engine is like taking medication daily without illness. Nothing dramatic happens, but nothing improves either. Over time, that turns into recurring spending without mechanical return. This behavioral pattern mirrors another common fuel misunderstanding: premium gasoline. Many drivers believe premium fuel is universally better, but premium fuel doesn't clean better. It doesn't contain more energy. It resists knock. That matters only in engines designed to operate near knock thresholds, turbocharged or high compression systems. In engines that don't, premium fuel provides unused capability. Fuel additives function the same way. If the engine isn't experiencing deposits or instability, the additive's chemistry goes unused. Specialized solutions only matter under specialized conditions. Now here's the part most drivers never consider. Using fuel additives too frequently can slightly alter combustion efficiency, even when no correction is required. Because additives modify fuel chemistry, detergents can release deposits faster than combustion cycles can process smoothly. Combustion modifiers can subtly change flame propagation speed. Ethanol stabilizers can alter volatility characteristics. Engines adapt through oxygen sensors and ignition timing corrections. But adaptation isn't always perfectly efficient. No warning lights appear. No immediate performance loss is felt. Just small inefficiencies accumulating gradually across thousands of combustion cycles. Engines rarely fail dramatically. They wear incrementally. No additive compensates for neglected maintenance fundamentals. Delayed oil changes influence internal wear far more than injector cleanliness. Restricted air filters affect combustion efficiency more than fuel detergency. Frequent cold starts create more carbon buildup than fuel chemistry differences alone. That's why two identical engines using the same additives can age very differently. Maintenance addresses root causes. Additives address secondary symptoms when symptoms exist. There's also a psychological layer reinforcing additive overuse. When drivers expect improvement, they often perceive improvement. Smoother idle, quieter combustion, sharper throttle response. Sometimes those improvements are real, especially when deposits were present. Other times, the engine hasn't changed measurably at all. Expectation influences perception, but perception isn't diagnostic evidence. Professional technicians don't dismiss fuel additives. They contextualize them. They confirm injector imbalance, inspect combustion efficiency data, evaluate fuel quality history. Then if chemical correction is justified, they apply it once or in controlled intervals. They don't treat healthy engines preemptively, because intervention without diagnosis creates cost without benefit. Here's the rule that eliminates most additive mistakes. If no problem is diagnosed, no chemical correction is required. Healthy engines require stability, not supplementation. When symptoms appear, diagnose first. Additives become tools instead of habits. Individually, additive purchases feel minor, but over years of ownership, they accumulate. Multiple bottles annually across a decade can equal significant unnecessary spending without extending engine life or reducing repair risk. That money produces far greater benefit when invested in fundamentals: quality oil, filtration, cooling system servicing, scheduled maintenance intervals. Engines reward foundational care more than supplemental chemistry. The fuel additive mistake most drivers don't realize they're making isn't choosing the wrong product. It's using additives without understanding their purpose. Additives aren't universal protectants. They're conditional tools. Used correctly, they restore system balance. Used blindly, they create expense without improvement. Cars that last the longest aren't owned by people who buy the most products. They're owned by people who understand system requirements and intervene only when intervention is mechanically justified. Fuel additives aren't magic. They aren't scams. They're specialized solutions valuable in the right context, unnecessary in the wrong one. And once you understand that distinction, fuel decisions become simpler, more economical, and far more effective across the lifespan of the vehicle. That's the difference most drivers never realize.